Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you a artist collaboration that I do with 3 other artists on YouTube. We do this basically at the time that the seasons are changing. So tomorrow, the 20th, is the summer solstice, the time for summer to start. And so this collaboration is about summer colors, whatever. So um, what we do is we make a background and then we scan it and share them digitally, and then each of us prints them out and uses them to make art. Well, as you guys know, it's June and I've been doing artist trading cards all month because it's the ATC a day challenge for Art Joy of Sharing, which is myself and Peg Robinson's art community. And so I decided to make artist trading cards. Usually I will take all these backgrounds and make them into some type of a collage or something. And I'm sure that when you visit the other artists' channels, someone will have done something like that. I don't know what they're doing because I haven't seen their videos. You know, we kind of wait until they're all published. The other artists in the group are Bea Grobe. She's from Switzerland. And then we have Martha from Ayala Art. I Love to Paint. And then we have Gina B. Aarons, who is a friend of mine who has an Etsy shop and sells a lot of interesting things. So those are the other 3 that you can click through and watch their videos. What I'm showing you at the beginning of this is what I did to make my background. I started with a watercolor paper. I used some molding paste through a stencil. It's a stencil from Stencil Girl that has kind of these Moroccan shapes on it. Then I let all that dry. I dripped some fluid paint down it in colors of yellows and greens, which to me mean summer. And then I added some more color with some archival ink pads. I wanted the raised areas of the background to show, and so I was scraping the pads over them so that it would catch on the edges. And then in some areas I took the stencil again and some white gesso, and I put the stencil over where everything was raised and made some of those raised areas white with gesso so that they would stand out from the background a little bit more. So that's what I'm doing right now. I also did some stamping with a French script stamp. I had this thin paper that has some yellow, it's vellum paper. It's actually kind of hard to work with collage. I wouldn't recommend it, but I thought it was kind of interesting with the yellow stripes, and so I glued that down as some collage over the top. You can see it. It's not super obvious, and that was the point, was that it was just some more pattern and color. I like to make a lot of layers on my mixed media backgrounds. I like to just keep adding and adding until I'm happy. Once all that was dry, then I did some shading and mark making with a Stabilo All pencil and activated that with a water tank brush. You've seen me do this a million times. I'm just doing this around the edges of these shapes. I think they might be called an arabesque. I'm not sure exactly, but they remind me of Morocco. I don't know why. I think they have screens, and this pattern is repeated often. So it's an interesting stencil. I got it right before I had made this background, which was a while ago. But anyway, I'm shading, and then I think I do still add one more layer. This whole video is sped up 8 times fast. Like I was saying before, it's going to be the summer solstice tomorrow, but today, June 19th, is a holiday that was declared a U.S. holiday in 1980. It's called Juneteenth, and it is a celebration that started in Texas, and it's about the time that the Emancipation Proclamation was declared after the Civil War in Texas, which I think was the last state to declare slavery abolished. And so in these particular times, it was just interesting to mention that holiday as a celebration to celebrate freeing slaves, which is a very hot topic right now. So that's today. Tomorrow is summer solstice, and I do celebrate summer solstice with some with a bonfire and some special food. So this will be fun. So my last layer is a napkin or serviette as they call them in other countries. It's a thin paper printed thing, and then I separated the layers off so that I just have the top layer that has the printing. It's got sunflowers all over it, and to me, sunflowers mean summer. I mean, you just don't see them unless it's summer, right? They're kind of the shape of of a sun with their their petals going out like the sun. The kind of image that we have of the sun. Obviously, we can't look at it. You would hurt our eyes if we looked at it. Doesn't really have these little rays coming out of it, but that's something that we were taught as children probably, and we all think about the sun having rays coming off of it. Sunflowers look a lot like that, so that's probably why they're named that. So I'm separating out some of the sunflower shapes and then gluing them down with some fluid matte medium onto my background and just making it more interesting. Lots of layers, lots of textures. Of course, I'm not going to send this actual piece, I still have it, to anyone. What I'm going to do is take it to my computer. I'm going to scan it at a high resolution, and then I'm going to share that digital file with the other three artists who will then print it out to use it. If you are going to print something, I would recommend printing it with a laser printer because that's like a permanent solution for mixed media. You can tear it up and use it. Nothing will run or move. But I didn't have access to a laser printer this month, so I'm just going to print it on an inkjet printer, which comes out a lot lighter than a real good laser copy. I've decided it's just too light. So here's my finished background. I did some integration with some finger painting of acrylic paint. Here is Gina Bieren's background. This is Bea Grobe's, very abstract. I like hers a lot. It's pretty cool. And then here is Martha's from Ayala Art. I love to paint. And so I have those four to choose from. So since I did print these on an inkjet printer, I am taking some clear gesso in my small brayer and I'm brayering over them a coat of gesso to seal in all that ink and make sure that they don't smear and run and be disgusting. Because that's what would happen if I got them too wet. Everything would just mush. So like I said before, I'm going to make ATCs. This isn't usually what I do with these. I have a lot left over that I can make another project with. I like to use it all up if I can. I like to make, bigger pieces of art using the backgrounds, using bits and parts of the backgrounds. But this time, because it's ATC a day, and today is day 19 of ATC a day, so the first ATC I make here, I will just call that one day 19, but you get another 4 because I made 5. So bonus, extra 4 ATCs today. If you guys have been watching, there's been a video pretty much every day this month that has to do with artist trading cards. I won't be probably making many more artist trading cards in the year because I'm kind of over it already and it's only day 19. But it is really helping me get out of my funk that I was in with all the stuff going on in 2020. I've been very irritable and, I'm stuck inside. I can't go outside much, can't do much. Things are bad on the television and I've just been, but having something to do every single day and kind of a responsibility to do it because Art Joy of Sharing is Peg and I's group and our challenge. And, if we're not doing it, we can't really expect anyone else to do it. So it's actually been super helpful to have something to do that I kind of was in some ways required to do, but in other ways, it's very, artistic, creative, different every single day, small, not a big commitment. So you guys can still join in, even though it's day 19. You can certainly start making ATCs if you want to now. That's fine. You can do as many as you want or whatever. It's a good little teeny tiny bit of art that you're not committed to making a whole canvas or whatever. You can You can make something small and really pretty that brings joy to the world and beauty to the world, and contribute in that way, and also help your own mental health by having an activity to do that's creative. So I've taken the different pieces that are dry now, and I'm cutting them up. I have both some watercolor and some Bristol paper blanks, ATC blanks. These are 3.5 by 2.5, or a couple of them actually were cut down slightly so that I could put a backing on them, because I sometimes like to do that. So I had 5 laying around on my desk that were blank, and I'm just taking my papers and cutting them down cutting the parts out that I think are super interesting. You know, when you make a background, it's a whole big thing. When you cut it down, you get a lot of little pieces that are interesting. Even when you're just painting papers, or, you know, whatever, making backgrounds that you plan to use as collage later, this still happens. You might make a whole big piece of painty paper, and you've got mark making and stenciling, and you've got some finger painting, and you've got all this whatever on there, stamps, whatever. And then that whole big piece just in your eye comes down to this one small little special area that you super like. And that's the piece that you want to use, you know? That's kind of the way I was looking at it with these backgrounds. Not that they're terrible in any way. I mean, I'll use all the rest of the pieces, but more, I just was looking for pieces that I thought were super cool that I would like to condense down into a small piece. So I think the first one I'm working on, that's going to end up being day 19 for ATC a day, is kind of an abstract. Baya's background was abstract. It was cool. It alone could have just been, I mean, I didn't need anything added to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't seem lacking. I didn't feel it needed a focal point. I liked how abstract and cool it was, with colors of purple and yellow and orange. And so I took a piece of it, and then I took some other pieces and kind of made an homage to that idea, which is, you know, another abstract piece. So my first one was kind of abstracted, and I just did some, and this is really going fast. I'm sorry, you guys. Some of you are not going to like this. If you don't like it this fast, you can adjust the speed below the video. There's a place that you can slow it down, but you'll need to turn off the volume of my voice, or it'll just sound like I'm speaking really slow, like I've had way too much drink. So if you want to watch it slower, you can absolutely adjust it on the YouTube app. However, take the volume out. So I'm kind of doing the same process on all of them, even though they're coming out different. I'm taking different pieces of each background. I'm adding a piece of one person's background to this background, and making, maybe some of them are abstract. I cut out some of the flowers on Martha's piece and made them the focal image on one of the backgrounds from Bea, plus a little piece. I guess maybe it was just Martha's and Bea's on that one. The first one had a piece of Bea's and a piece of mine and a piece of Gina's, I think, or maybe it's just another piece of Bea's. I don't know. Then this third one, it's one of these tropical flower looking shapes from Martha's piece, and I just really cut that down so that it kind of looks like this tropical flower that's coming up and attracting insects that want to pollinate. And so I went and got a stamp set and stamped this little butterfly on there that's coming to visit the stamens that I drew onto the flower. Um, the ink didn't make it very black, so I went over it with a black Posca pen, and then I filled in with a white Posca pen, and then went over it with my watercolor crayons. Products that I'm using: Neocolor 2 watercolor crayons with a obviously with a water tank brush. I'm using my black Stabilo all pencil. I'm using my graphite gray Stabilo all pencil, white Posca pen. I'm using Tim Holtz stickers, and I'm using some ink pads to go around the edges. I did use one gold Arteza acrylic marker, and I have a gold cardstock background, a black cardstock background, and then the others I just put ink around the edges to frame it out. So Neocolor 2 crayons that I'm using right now, love, 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 love. Favorite. And so that's what I had out. And remember I told you earlier that when I printed it with the inkjet, they didn't seem as vibrant as they did on the computer screen, or the way they printed out. It just not as good. And so by going and kind of pumping up the color in some areas with the Neocolor 2, really made a difference in making them a lot more vibrant and more summery. So, oh, another product I use, used a couple pens, a taupe colored pen from the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pens, which are a India ink brush pen that I used to do some shading on one of the cards. But basically the same products, the same kind of processes the whole time. I can sit and do this forever. I could make probably, with just the backgrounds that I have, probably, I don't know, 15 more ATCs at least, maybe more than that. I can't even really calculate. But I'm varying what, the styles of them. Like in some it's very, you got the flowers, you know what it is, you got bees or butterflies, and others they're real abstract concepts, which I enjoy a lot. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. Please don't forget to go visit the links below the video to visit Bea, Martha, and Gina, and watch their videos, listen to their instruction, and then of course give them a thumbs up and a comment to, say, hey, I came over here from Shel's video. I like your video. I think it's awesome. Also, don't forget to give mine a thumbs up and a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on your notification bells. Also, you can, if you've created yourself an ATC board on Pinterest, you can pin this to that for later viewing if you'd like to get some more ideas. That's cool. And of course, you can come over to Art Joy Sharing, our art community, and share your ATCs or whatever art you're doing this month. And of course, I also have to say happy summer solstice tomorrow. Happy Juneteenth today. So this one, another abstracted idea. I was thinking about the rays of the sun coming out, and I had these two shapes in the middle, and I thought, well, maybe those are the center of the sun, and I've got some rays, and this is Gina's very interesting background with lots of shapes and colors summary. And then I was thinking about the all-seeing eye and the rays that come from an all-seeing eye image, and I decided that what I needed was an eye. I don't know why, it just does. And so I drew an eye on there. This one I used the graphite pencil and the gray ink, so there's no black on it at all. It's just gray. And then I added some interesting sticker words and mark making and splatters, and that was it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.